Hey everyone, and welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be sharing 100 one-sentence K-pop opinions, but they progressively get more serious as the video goes on. So as you could probably guess, we're going to start off with some really lighthearted and tame opinions, and then move into an intermediate section, and the last 25 opinions or so are pretty heavy and cover somewhat heavy topics. Since these are one sentence, I won't be elaborating on any of them, which is pretty hard for me, but I got through it. Thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like and subscribe. And without further ado, let's get into opinion number 1. Disclaimer, a lot of these are like 1.5 sentences or like 2 sentences, but don't call me out on that. Anyways, let's go. If CLC debuted in 2022 with something like Hobgoblin, they would probably be one of the top girl groups in the industry right now. Personally, I don't really like quirky concepts unless it's Billlie who's doing them. I.Z.Y was so much more entertaining than I thought it was going to be, and I'm so glad the idols are able to actually interact again. This is going to be the most subjective opinion I'll ever share, but Minjae has the best smile in K-pop. Like, he makes me weak, I can't. Hearing Yuki rap in my bag got me addicted to her rapping voice, and I need to hear her do it more. Maybe it made sense to longtime EXO-Ls, but Jumin solo was one of the most unexpected and confusing debuts I've ever heard. Like, it was actually good, but I was just taken by surprise throughout the entire thing because I didn't expect that kind of song from an EXO member. Fromis 9's past 2 albums are honestly so much better than all of their previous releases, and I'm really glad because they used to be a hardcore title track only group. I really liked how Hybe did that Hybe family variety show thing, and I want to see more stuff like that in the future, even with groups that aren't from the same company, like imagine an Ateez x The Boyz variety show. Speaking of, Sunwoo from The Boyz, Hongjoong from Ateez, and Win from MCND are my favorite boy group idol rappers right now, and they're pretty solidly locked in those top 3 spots. Oh!My Girl don't need to have more frequent comebacks because they're somehow securing brand deal after brand deal, and they don't need to risk their reputation by releasing more songs that could potentially do bad on the charts. Sour Grapes is good, but I do think that it's the worst song on the Lesserafim mini if we don't count the intro because The Great Mermaid and Blue Flame are just too good. There are some groups who are pretty low on my stan list whose music I really do love, but they're not any higher because I'm not really charmed by any of the members. There kind of has to be a good mix of both good music and good likability for me to really ult a group, you know? If you guys haven't listened to the Streetman Fighter soundtrack yet, then you are missing out because it is so good. You don't need to watch the show, just listen to the music. My Satisfaction is by far IVE's worst song in my opinion. I genuinely think it's like a 2 out of 10. I'm sorry. Yoonjin of Lesserafim has to be one of the most charming idols of the 4th generation, and I hope more people start to notice her individually because she just deserves everything in the world. Recognizing that a group has objectively good music doesn't mean you need to stan them because sometimes the genres they do just don't mesh well with your personality. Here's another one similar to that. There's a lot of main vocalists who I know are amazing singers, but I just don't like the way their voices sound, so I'm not a fan of them. Those live band versions of K-pop songs from the ITZY live channel on YouTube are always so good, and sometimes they're even better than the original. To be honest, I'm more excited for those than for Studio Chum's. Idols having representative emojis that they caption their posts with will never not be cute to me, and I hope they never stop doing that. Shutdown is Blackpink's best song ever, and I will stand by that opinion until I overplay the song and get sick of it. Literally nobody's gonna understand this next one, but since it's on my mind, Ailey sings so much like Sojung from Ladies Code, they could be like vocal twins or something. Sweet by the Boyz is by far the best song to come from that Universe app, and it isn't even close. Okay, Did a Dance comes somewhat close, but whatever. Okay, I feel kind of weird saying this next one, but simply out of a desire to see the more human side of idols, I wish we had more instances of them sneezing on camera. Does that make sense? NCT 127's Two Baddies album is probably my boy group album of the year, and people need to stop judging them based solely on their title tracks because their B-sides are so much better. At this point in time, I do still like it, but I kind of think Sneakers is aging a little bit badly. Party Rock by Cravity is one of the best songs I've heard in my entire life, and I'm sad it doesn't seem to be catching the attention of many people domestically or internationally. Like, you guys just don't like good music. I haven't really been the biggest fan of any of Red Velvet's solo projects so far, so that's why I'm not too excited for Sulgi solo. Call me basic all you want, but my favorite type of look on a male idol is short, dirty blonde hair that barely goes past their eyebrows. For example, MCND's Minjae during Spring Era, and that's why it's my profile picture. I wish J-Hope released more music like Rush Hour for his solo instead of the emo music he actually put out. For being a 13-member group, it's impressive that for the most part, 17 have really even line distributions, and that's proof of how talented all of the members are. Meki laid the groundwork for like 50% of the 4th gen girl groups that exist right now, and you should all thank them by streaming their music. I don't know if this is just me, but besides Spider, I haven't been able to get behind any of 17's solo releases, which makes me sad because I want to like them so bad. Still need a Dino solo, by the way. I love DKZ, but they need to put out more than single albums every single time if I'm ever gonna stand them. It's not on purpose, but a lot of the time my K-pop biases end up being vocalists who are a little bit underrated, like Sangyeon from the Boyz or Minjae from MCND. I think I might be the only person who does not give a single damn about the Y2K trend in K-pop. Like, I rarely enjoy music from that genre, and I'm praying it doesn't become the next big thing. Most K-pop companies and groups have absolutely no idea how to work within the TikTok algorithm, and that's why they need to start working with more Gen Zs. Rocket Punch would be so much more popular if they released Chiquita and Flash instead of Bouncy and Juicy, because Bouncy and Juicy made them lose all of the hype they had in their rookie years. I saw a poll where the majority of the voters said that black was Subin's best hair color, and I need to say that those people are wrong because his blue hair will always be one of the best looks I've ever seen on an idol. MCND are going to have toured in every continent this year besides Africa, Australia, and obviously Antarctica, so maybe they're the group that's come closest to what you would call a quote-unquote world tour. 2022 might have the most exciting end of the year award shows in a while because for once, things don't seem predictable and there are multiple groups deserving of almost every single award. I didn't think it was possible, but somehow in 2022, 4th gen boy group names got even worse. Like, what the fuck? I'm very interested to see how well Mamamoo's upcoming comeback does because most of their solo releases and their past couple OT4 projects haven't performed exceptionally well, but maybe this is their moment to step back into the limelight. Street Man and Street Woman Fighter are way more entertaining than Queendom 2 or any Mnet survival show will ever be, and more people should at the very least watch Street Woman Fighter. Remember when JYP planned for NMIXX to have like 5 releases this year? Whatever happened to that? I mean, I'm glad they weren't that overworked, but I am curious as to what happened to the other songs. And Hyphen are going to become one of those groups where everyone thinks their music is bad because of their title tracks if they keep working with whoever made Blessed Cursed and Pass the Mic. I probably won't ever stand Dreamcatcher because all of my favorite songs of theirs are the ones that sound the least Dreamcatcher, such as Cherry or Jazz Bar or Black or White, if that makes sense. I really want a boy group version of KDA, and I think idols like Kiho from P1 Harmony and Win of MCND would be perfect candidates to play, say, Rakan and Zed respectively. Considering G-Friend never had that huge of a dedicated fanbase and fell out of the general public's hearts in 2019 and 2020, it's not that big of a surprise that their post-disbandment careers aren't really taking off like lots of people said they would. People always dog on how girl group raps are shoehorned in and unnecessary, but I think it's a real problem in boy group songs too, with boy group stans just being a little bit more receptive to, for lack of a better word, bad raps. The way that Soyeon is so well respected as an amazing rapper despite being one of the most hated idols within the industry is definitive proof of her talent. Like, you cannot deny that she's an ace. I think a lot of people obsess over the idea of cross-group collabs and stages a little bit too much because basically 99% of the ones that we've gotten up until now have been extremely disappointing, like who else remembers the Jessie and Hyuna stage? Looking back on it, August was not that good of a month for K-pop as everybody thought it was gonna be. I think we all set our expectations a little bit too high, and a lot of the groups that we were anticipating ended up kind of disappointing us. Based on what I've seen, K-pop groups are a little bit too worried about breaking into the North American market, but the Central and South American markets are the ones that are actually receptive and inviting of K-pop groups. Sunmi is cool and she's not a bad talk show host, but Jessie did such a better job with Showterview and I don't have any incentive to watch the show anymore. Fantagio Entertainment waited about 6 years too long to give Yoojung from Meki a solo debut. Like, I seriously cannot handle how poorly that group has been managed by the company. It makes me genuinely upset. Speaking of post-I.O.I groups being mismanaged, if Pristin debuted with only the girls from Pristin V, they would have been able to avoid most of their internal management issues and would be like 900 times more successful to the point where they'd likely still be around today. Personally, K-pop albums and merch are way too expensive to justify me buying albums from anyone besides my ults anymore, although I would still probably attend a concert if the tickets were cheap enough. It's not a direct correlation, but since K-pop companies rely so heavily on ads to boost their music video views, I find that looking at the view count of other related videos such as music show stages or dance practices gives you a way better estimate of how successful a comeback was. I think with crowd gathering restrictions going down in South Korea and in-person events becoming more and more frequent nowadays, we'll probably see the rise of boy groups a bit within the next year or so because they'll be able to actually perform in front of crowds and build their fan bases. SM Entertainment really fumbled the ball with their management of 10 from NCT because he could have been one of the most, if not the most popular idol within the third generation if they promoted him in a way where people worldwide could have fallen in love with him. And I think that should have started with him being in 127. Brave Girls, and more specifically Brave Entertainment, blew their chance to make the group successful after Rollin', and I fear they're never going to be able to get that momentum back. I find it so funny when people get mad at me for promoting my faves on my channel because literally what is there to be mad about? Like, people are getting genuinely upset because I talk about groups that I enjoy, so I kind of just brush it off because clearly those people are just miserable. Woollim Entertainment is slowly becoming one of the most irrelevant companies when it comes to their idol acts. People need to stop calling content creators who create mashups producers if they've never made any original music in their life, because there's a difference between content creators and music producers. I always go behavior. People shouldn't be surprised when they find out that K-pop idols still live with their parents even in their mid-20s, considering most of them have to go through 7-year contracts and most probably won't even get a single cent back. Everglow Up said this first, so credit to her, but 6-member girl groups are cursed because they're literally all losing members left and right. Cube needs to learn how to promote their other groups because that company is relying so hard on G-idle and I guess B2B carrying their idol division, and who knows if either of them are going to want to stay once contract renewals are up. Most toxic K-pop stans act the way they do because they've always wanted the opportunity to be an ass without repercussions, and K-pop social media is the perfect place for them to do so. SM isn't known for having the best rappers in the industry, obviously, but I also think that the company doesn't value being a good dancer as much as they used to, with most of their notably good dancers debuting pretty early in the company's history. Similarly, JYP seems to be more focused on debuting idols who are good rappers and dancers, with maybe 1 or 2 powerhouse vocalists per group. Not necessarily a K-pop specific opinion, but people who get mad at an entire social media platform because they think their favorite site is better are baffling to me, because why are we standing websites? At this point, it's becoming a little bit annoying how people won't stop announcing how they want Soojin back in the group. Enough time has passed and we need to move on, considering a lot of you never even stand G-idle. Shout out to my friend Levanta for this opinion, go subscribe to her. SM Entertainment has got to be setting Giselle up for failure recently, and no, I won't elaborate. I know a lot of you are really grossed out by cigarettes and stuff, but honestly, we should have a bit more empathy for idols who smoke because 1, it's their life and they're allowed to do whatever they want, and 2, they have to deal with the pressure of being an idol and the schedules that come with it, so yeah, some of them are gonna smoke. Queendom 2 created way too much drama just for all of the groups to gain literally nothing because of the show. But it's somewhat impressive how Mnet managed to make the second season so much less impactful than the first. K-pop stans are completely overreactive and say whatever they want online, so if you're gonna create a social media presence in K-pop, you either need to learn how to deal with rude comments or learn how to turn off Twitter notifications. Survival shows manipulate viewers into hating specific trainees or idols every single time, and the evil edits are so obvious, but people never seem to understand that they're being manipulated. I'm glad Oneus are becoming more and more successful with each comeback, but I'm kind of scared that the older members are going to have to enlist before the group can have their breakout moment. I wish YouTube was able to do something against the presence of content farms, especially K-pop content farms, because people will never be able to recognize a content farm when they see one, and I find them really harmful to other content creators who cover the same topics. Considering a lot of K-pop stans can't even handle constructive criticism about their favorite K-pop groups, I'm concerned for how they're gonna handle the situation when they have to start working a real job or do anything within the real world. Companies can pretend to care about the environment all they want, but if we're being honest, K-pop is never gonna be an industry that you can actually call eco-friendly, but that's almost every entertainment industry. I thought Jimin, formerly of I.O.I, making her reappearance into the idol industry on that survival show would have made more noise within the K-pop community, but I guess it's a good thing that it didn't because it means people don't care and have moved on from the controversy. If you go to a concert and your main goal is to be able to interact and have a YN moment with an idol, then you seriously need to reevaluate yourself and do better to respect K-pop idols as actual artists. Thumbnails of K-pop YouTube videos are taken way too seriously. Like, some of you need to understand that putting the word worst next to an idol's face is not going to cause people to hate on that idol, especially if the actual content within the video is respectful. I wish that the industry allowed K-pop idols to speak out and share their stories about mental health if they wanted to, because people always forget to treat them like real human beings who have real problems that they struggle with. Let's face it, a lot of people only hate K-pop YouTubers because banding together to attack them when one of us says something negative about your favorite group is an easy way to get a hit tweet or get likes on TikTok. Like, it's just another way to get clout. Disclaimer, this is all speculation, don't sue me. But there are some K-pop groups that I think could genuinely be fronts for companies that conduct more dubious activities behind the scenes. Not elaborating though. I feel like you're not allowed to just call people ugly because you want to. Why would we allow someone to be awful to other people if they were attractive? That just doesn't make sense to me. Some of you are obviously lying when you say you're okay with idols getting plastic surgery because you will defend other idols who are getting hate for their procedures, but will sound so sad when you found out your fave got lip fillers or something. Although, side note, I don't think companies should be allowed to pressure idols into getting any work done. People who blatantly announce that idols above the age of 20 are too old to debut are so weird because it's like, you are obviously a teenager, if even that, and you are already perpetuating ageism. How does that happen when you're a little kid? It doesn't make sense. Considering even the biggest K-pop companies are all jumping on the NFT train, NFTs are probably going to become a constant in the industry, and we should all reevaluate whether or not we want to continue to invest in it. I feel like a lot of the time, companies let go of idols after their 7-year contracts are over because they feel like their careers have quote-unquote expired, so to speak. And it makes me sad because I wish being young wasn't such a necessity to be a successful idol nowadays. To expand on the last opinion, specific idols breaking barriers in K-pop such as Taeyeon being successful above the age of 30 or Hwasa breaking beauty standards does not mean that those barriers don't still exist for like 99% of the industry. The age limit for how early someone can debut should really be raised to at least 16, ideally 17 or 18, but I sadly doubt that any laws regarding age limits against debuting 13 and 14-year-olds will ever be made. We should also really talk about how early idols become trainees too, because some of these kids have been trainees since they've been 8 or even younger, and that is very concerning. I don't like how in tweets like this, the first thing people do is reply with stuff along the lines of, wow, boy groups haven't had any impact this year. Not because I think boy groups are overhated or whatever, but because in posts like this that are supposed to be celebrations of girl groups and female idols, why do people feel the need to insert and make it about boy groups? Usually I never see people bring up girl groups in posts about boy groups, so I don't get why it always happens when the roles are reversed. Using things like Chinese idols and their relationships with the CCP or anything else like that, which has insurmountable amounts of nuance behind it for fan wars, puts an extremely bad taste in my mouth and proves how little people actually care about those situations. And to finish this all off, my final opinion is that if you got here and watched the entire video, then you are an amazing person who deserves all the good things in the world. And that concludes this video. Thank you all so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed. I know it's crazy that I wasn't able to really elaborate on most of these opinions, especially some of the later ones, but a lot of those opinions are things that I could make really in-depth videos on in the future, so let me know if there are any of these opinions that you would want me to do that for. If you enjoyed the video, consider leaving a like, and if you want to see more of my content, consider subscribing. And the last thing that we do before we go is thank all of our channel members, and I guess let's just do that right now. So without further ado, thank you Opeach and ITZY, Woo Twice Tees, Dog, What's OP, Zeus112, Jackie, ZVH, Ian Latte, Soda Scribbles, Minacor, Adrian Wang, Shiny, Mail T, Mizu Monorovie, Fixon Jung, Cassie, Frago Bobo, Gav, Adifa N, Irene, Chili's Cafe, Mello, Ale, Julia Peterson, Che, 97th Heaven, Frosty Plays, Julian Zalazar, Jay, Alpha Fox, Edgy Does Things, Namjoon's Lost AirPods, Q Can Love, Alitzer, Kaylin Castor, I.O.I, Elizabeth Allinger, Sonorinth, Miriam, Flo099, Wooyoungi, and Jed. Thank you all so much for supporting the channel, and thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you all in the next video. Peace out.